Protecting an entire workbook, sheets, or specific ranges within a workbook are a good way to make sure that templates and important files are not unintentionally or intentionally changed. There are different methods and level of protection. You can fully protect the contents of your workbook. You can allow users to open as read-only, so you don't allow them to overwrite your original. You can protect the structure of your workbook. You can protect a sheet but leave specific ranges open for input, which is actually perfect for templates that people need to complete. This way you make sure they don't overwrite any of your formulas and that they only input in the sections they should. You can also protect a sheet but leave some specific features open. Let's go through these one by one. First, let me show you how to fully protect the workbook. You go to File, Protect Workbook, Encrypt with Password. If you have Office 2007, you go to the Office button and you will see Prepare and you'll find it there. Encrypt with Password means that no one can open your workbook unless they have the password, so they can't even view the contents. Protection here doesn't necessarily mean security. So it doesn't mean that your file is secure, because there are a lot of third-party tools that can crack these passwords. Be aware of that when you use this protection. Once you put a password, you just have to reconfirm it, save it. No one can open it without this password. That's the highest level of protection. Next is to save this as read-only for others to open, so that they can't overwrite the original. And you can do that directly by going to Save As. And here under the Tools options, General options, you can provide a password to open like we did before, and you can provide a password to modify the spreadsheet. You can also tick mark Read Only Recommended. So if I put a password to modify this, again, you shouldn't forget your password, so I put coffee here. You have to reconfirm. And then we save this. Okay, replace yes. If I close this and reopen this, I get the message that if I want to modify it, I need to put a password. Otherwise, I can open this as read-only. So if I'm just any user who is not responsible for this file, I will click read-only, and you can see it here in the square brackets, and I can work in this file like normal, but I can't save directly on it because it says you can save a copy because this file is read-only. So I can say OK and then save my version of it somewhere. To take away this protection, I need to go in as the user who can modify this workbook. So I'm going to close this and let's go back here and we can put coffee. And it said it's recommended that you open this as read-only, but I don't want to, so I say no. And now I can again do a save as and take away that security if I don't want it anymore. And save over it. The third method of protection is to protect the structure of your workbook, which means that users can't shift stuff. So they couldn't move this tab to here, back and forth, or even add new tabs. To do that, you go to File, again same place, and you say Protect Workbook Structure. You will obviously give a password. I'm just going to leave that empty for now. If I try to shift this one, it doesn't move. They don't move. And if I want to add a new sheet, I can't. So that's a good way of making sure your tabs don't get messed up. I'm just going to remove that. One other useful feature is when you hide tabs. I mean, you've probably noticed when you hide something and you go to unhide, you can see the list and users can easily unhide hidden sheets. If you want to hide something really, really well, that no one finds it, you can do that by right mouse clicking and click on View Code. It takes you to the VBA, but you don't need to do any VBA here. All you do is on this sheet, so here you can see the list of your sheets. You see I'm on T5, and the last option is the visibility. Now visible, hidden is the normal Excel hiding, and Excel sheet very hidden, it completely disappears. Okay, so now my T5 is gone, and if I right mouse click and I unhide, I can't even see that it's there. Right now, if I then go and protect the structure of my workbook, no one can bring it back. You can bring this back yourself by going to View Code and finding your tab from here. In this case, we hid T5, and you can see it's very hidden. We can put it back to visible, and it pops up here. Next is to protect a worksheet. So let's assume you want to send some information out, and you don't want any user that opens this to be able to change anything. You just want them to read it. What you can do is you go to Review, because that's where you find the protection options, and you select Protect Sheet. You will put a password here, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to leave that empty. It's just going to take too much time of me inputting the password and then unprotecting and changing the settings. So I'll leave that empty, and these two by default are checked. You can see it says allow all users of this worksheet to still be able to select locked cells and select unlocked cells. What this means is that people can click everywhere, but now I'm going to try to delete this. I can't. I'm going to try to input here. I can't. But I can click on it and I can see the formula, for example, here. Now let's say I take away those check marks. I have to unprotect the sheet, because remember you need to have the password to this to make any modifications. I'm going to go back to protection, and I'm going to take away the check marks, leave that empty, and say OK. Look, I can't click anywhere. I can't even view these formulas. So that's what those check marks are for. In a more realistic case, you're going to be sending out a template to people that you want them to fill. You want them to complete it. You want to give them some place where they can input stuff, but you also want to protect your sheet so that they don't by mistake go here and delete the formulas, or change some formulas here, or insert columns and add their own things to this. To do that, what you can do is highlight the area that you want them to be able to input, and then click on Allow Users to Edit Ranges. Then click on New. Now you can give it even a range title. So this can be like Input by Agents. This is the area that I want, and I can even put a password for people to modify this if I wanted to. Let's say in this case, I don't want a specific password for anyone to modify this. I'll just leave that empty, and I say OK. Then it's not enough if I just say OK, because nothing has changed. I haven't protected my sheet yet. You can see I can input everywhere. I still have this option available. So nothing happens until I protect the sheet. I still do want the people to select locked cells. Now I say OK. Let's see if I can input here. So price is, let's say 20, and quantity is 300, and revenue is calculated. Can I change this? No. Can I change the agent? I can't. Can I insert a column? I can't. But I can input here, and I can input here without a password. And now let's say in the same sheet, you want to provide a special field where some special people or agents can fill this. And you have provided them with a password, so you want this part to be password protected. What you can do again is to add this range to their list that allows the users to edit ranges. Now, why is this unavailable to me, this feature? Because I need to unprotect my sheet first, so that they make sure I have the access rights to make these changes. Now remember, I didn't put a password. That's why I'm working really fast through this. I'm going to go to allow users to edit ranges so I can see this is input by agents. And now I'm going to add a new range. I'm going to call this, let's say, special agents. The cells that I want are these. And now I do want to put a password. So they should know coffee. Re-enter the password. So now I have two areas. And again, nothing is protected unless I protect my sheet, and I can do that directly from here. Again, you can put a password here. So this is going to be the main password that only you would know to be able to make these changes. What happens is, in here everyone can enter because remember we didn't put a password. But in here, I want to put a comment and says, okay, the cell you're typing is password protected, put in the password. So now I'm a special agent and I'm going to put coffee. And now I can say, hello there. Okay, now I can type in there. This is a good way of creating input templates by controlling ranges where only specific people can input in certain areas. So it's basically not security, I would say different rights. That you give people different rights to input in different fields. And you can fully control that by using this feature. Now let's unprotect this. Another option, if you're not providing different passwords for different ranges, but you just want to leave parts of your worksheet open, what you can do is to go to Format Cells. So I'm going to go with our shortcut key, Control-1. Go to Protection. Do you see this check mark here? You can take it away. What this means is that once you protect this sheet, this cell remains open. I'm going to say OK here. I'm going to just type something in so we know which cell this was. Now everything is open, right? I can type in everywhere. I'm going to go and protect my sheet, just like normal. Let's see. I can't type here, but can I type here? Yes, I can, because I changed the cell protection. So if I want to go back to it, I can't. I can't go back to Format Cells unless I unprotect the sheet. And then I can take areas. I could have taken this range and just go here and uncheck this. I could have done that as well. It was the same thing than going here. This just gives me more control by allowing me to also put in additional passwords for different ranges and also name and group my ranges. So I have a good overview of the parts that are open. You can also apply the same concept on anything, so on graphs, on objects. So if I had an object in here, let's just insert a shape. Let's put in some text. If I protect this sheet, my object is also protected by default. See, I can't click on it. It's fully protected. If I did want people to change the text or change the shape, I go to the properties and I take away the locking here. And I get an additional control over the text. So if I also want to give the ability to the people to change the text, I can take away this check mark. Now I'm going to protect the sheet. And this object is open. I can change this, but everything else is protected, except, of course, the cell. Now, the last thing is that you can protect your worksheet, but also allow certain features to be open. So in this case, remember, we left this part open, but let's say we told the agents, please highlight the row where you think you will have some problems with the product. If we had done this protection like we did before, and I want to highlight this row because that's a problem product, I can't. Everything is disabled. For me to allow them to make this change, what I can do is to go back to review. When I want to protect this sheet, you see format cells here? I can put a check mark on that because I can say, well, some features I do want them to control. And if I wanted them to insert columns or insert rows, I can let them do this. So you have some options here. In this case, I'm going to say let them format the cells, and then I put a password for it, and then I protect it. Let's make sure it's protected. Yes. But now let's say I want to go and say this is my problem product. I go here. These options are available, and I can highlight this. As you can see, you have a lot of options here to control the extent of your protection. Protecting workbooks and worksheets are a must if you're distributing a template for others to fill and complete. Now, proper protection reduces the mistakes and minimizes the need to make any corrections. You get to actually concentrate on data quality and not on copying and pasting and correcting data. So do practice this one.